into the Season 9 Invitational Arms Top 8. We've got some excellent players here. We've got Adam Brain. We've got False King. We've got Adam's coming in with a homie. This is a completely new loadout and character pick. I'm already excited. False King going in with a tried and true classic. Definitely a new loadout for him. I'm curious to see how double Tri-Blast will be working in his out for him. Quick introductions. I am the lead, pronouns she, they. This tournament will be segmented into a few different portions. As it currently stands, we are going to be doing 2 matches tonight, with the first one being this one right here, Adam Brain versus False King in a best of 5. And then after that one, we will be moving on to Alumox versus Frosty. So, without much further ado, I hope you are all well. Thank you all for the support. False King currently ready with a rush and looking for an opportunity, maybe just a bit of safe poking to try to get the kill here. A shield break could definitely do the deed, but any charged hit from Adam Brain could easily be a precious answer to take False King out here, as both of those are good stuns, and that is enough to put False King into a very dangerous position. Adam Brain also has arms that can just power through anything False King throws out. That is not going to be enough. Couldn't go for the chip that he was maybe hoping for, but the whammer slides by, and we are going to see Adam Brain utilizing Bite and Bark to be able to claim that first point. Reminder that Adam needs to win 3 2-pointers in these little segments to be able to advance in the bracket and not be knocked into the lower rounds. False King still holding onto his rush. I would definitely say just go for a shield breaker with those arms. It is capable of applying immense shield damage and could very likely set Adam in a bad position. But False King has been very patient, very careful, trying to utilize these Tri-Blasts to potentially just like end this rush to just scare Adam. But the whammer is going to just cleanly outweigh things and make for a very effective just denial. This round seems all but shut down. There is very little room for False King to really turn things about. But we do have 40 seconds left, and as long as False King's playing safe, playing smart, and gets this rush ready and lands it, we can definitely see it quickly turn tides, because that is not actually that much health when you really think about it. A shield breaker would be able to put Adam in a very bad position, and you knew Adam was afraid of that shield breaker. Ended up just dashing out, didn't opt for like a option to power through with the whammer, and ends up getting taken down. Round is now 1 apiece. Adam is going to have rush initiative in just a few brief moments after just a couple flurrious punches. But False King quickly starting off with the damage advantage, taking away 250 points from Adam Brain's health meter and setting himself up with a nice lead. He's going to also have that rush ready. This is going to be a desperate and rushed out rush, and it is going to very much reward False King, who manages to back out and is just continuing to play out the Wolverine footballs. Nice, safe, and smart. Just a quick explanation for anybody who might not be fully aware as to what is going on. We are currently watching ARMS, a 3D arena fighting game for the Nintendo Switch. Was brought out sometime before, or sometime in the earlier period of the Nintendo's life cycle. I don't think anybody's attacking ARMS. Don't pull out the sword, mate. Don't pull out the sword. We don't need white knights. It's cool. We're cool. Everything's cool. Is there a stream tomorrow? There might be a stream tomorrow. Depends on how I'm feeling. I should come back? Maybe. But no DNA and out counter pick. We can definitely do that. But yeah, this game is really interesting in the way that it's a fighting game. As you can see here, you've got a whole list of characters. You might know Min Min. Each character can equip any of the arms of the other characters in this game, so you're able to essentially create decks of 3 weapons per character, and you pick your character, you go into the arena, you fight it out, and based on how well you perform and how well you've built your deck or your loadout, we can often see the results swing one way or another. Starting things off, we do see False King taking the first point, utilizing the Wolverine Claw loadout. And it looks like we're going to be going to Sparring Ring next. Nice, close, tight-knit stage. If you want to see what ARMS is like, this is a great stage for it, as it is just one of the more aggressive. There's little to no room for hiding. You just fight. You go in, you do the battles, and we see our players setting up. False King looks like it, still sticking with the Wolverine claws. Adam Breen is going to be going in with Master Mummy, a heavy, beefy character. Has armor, which means that these Wolverine claws, these Tri-Blasts, are going to be a little more ineffective as long as Adam Breen is either in momentum or attacking. That clapback can be a very dangerous thing, especially with Master Mummy's large grip size, allowing for it to be a much larger obstacle to prevent False King from really getting a lot of his attacks out. As you can see, it is cleanly reflecting those hits and throwing them straight back at False King. Couple of well-aimed nades. False King is quickly running low on health. Weakened shield can also mean that if there's enough chip damage thrown out during the rush, Adam might be able to just break through, but I think he's just looking for just either holding onto the rush to prevent as a denial for False King, or just pressure in general, as he doesn't really need it in that situation. It definitely feels like it might have been more important for False King to pull something out, and that is not going to happen here. Going into our next round, clapback, the classic rival of the gloves, but this is all that False King has left. And is going to throw it out. Definitely a tried and true for the False King, something he's much more familiar with. Something a lot more he's comfortable with, that I've seen him walk many times before. But yeah, it is, as you're seeing here, like, it is very easy for that clapback just to redirect these attacks back at False King, which means that half the time he's just fighting himself. And that also leads into nice confirms as False King shocks himself, stunning himself, and allowing Adam Breen to get a free 205 damage grab and gets the KO. Quick second round is going to even out the score and put these two players at 1 apiece. Why is the advert thing? Where's the advertisement? Okay, now it's doing. Yeah, I like to think of this game like a 3D arena fighter, kind of mixed in with like a deck building game, essentially. Certain weapon arms have different elemental effects. You'll see a lot of them in play here. Ice freezing, slowing you down. Shock leaving you vulnerable. Fire is an instant knockback. Wind blows you away. Random except DNA, Sparring, and Mazo. So that one, so we can leave that. Leave that. So that should leave us with 4. Ah, Temple Grounds. So that match, that does match. Deep lore. There is definitely a lot of deep lore in this game. Much like fate has not been as kind to this game as it has Ninjala, where Ninjala has its anime rolling right now, and I am enjoying that greatly. ARMS never got its graphic novel. It's poor graphic novel that it's so much needed and deserved. Alright, we do have some counter picks equipment coming in. Adam is going to be bringing out the hot slaps, putting away that clapback, anticipating these two curved arms. A wise decision. And False King going to be going in. Two Thunderbirds, a staple twin tail loadout. Easily gets around a lot of pesky attacks. Some nice curves, some good angles, and it's a nice grab confirm, which just allows for a decent chunk of additional damage rolling in. And we have already seen how rewarding it is to run this build, as Adam Brain is currently at 25% health. Could definitely try to stall things out behind these pillars, heal a little bit of extra health. Nice catch with the rush. Needs to get that Mander out to get the 285. Still just barely hanging in. False King is not looking that much hotter, but has a rush ready, and if a good read is landed, could quickly close out this round. Nice nade. It does set up Adam in the lead. Good evasion as he leaps right over the Thunderbird. But a grab from False King sets Adam back into a health deficit. False King still holding onto that rush. He is looking to use it in the next round. Adam might be able to get enough damage with this rush. No, unfortunately not. If he maybe lent in a little bit more on chip damage, that might have actually been possible, but... Or if he tried to go for 2 slaps there instead of just that one. It's a little harder to make properly connect, but if you do it, that could have broke shield. Nice block here. It will cause a lot of damage to Adam's shield, but it also builds up that rush meter quickly, so he is in a position to very soon have a rush of his own. Gets disarmed, so the arm damage as these birds coming in from the side, constantly just weakening those two arms, making it a little bit easier for False King to get any other kind of confirms or hits. These T-birds are actually pretty easy to punish. All Adam has to do is get a good read on when False King throws one out, and it is pretty much impossible for False King to evade this. Nice 380 damage sets Adam at a notable lead, and these explosions from Nade just continuing to make life sizably more difficult for False King as he is struggling to get the timing down, especially in an online setting. It just makes it that little bit more difficult. Nice catch with the grab there. Adam Brain was just a little too tense to go for a grab of his own. You can see that his anxiety, like his concerns about like how things can go from here. Played it nice and patiently. False King maybe a little too greedy. Balances things out to 1 apiece once again. And now we have ourselves the final round for this next point. Whoever takes this one will be at a 2-1 advantage. Game 3 is a huge one. You want this Game 3. That is a very advantageous position because that means you get the stage pick for the last game. Adam Brain holding on to a light lead right now. False King doing an incredibly good job of just playing around these explosives, but an excellent read. We'll get 260 damage. Adam Brain just building up this lead more and more. That Slapamander doing another clean 120. False King at critical, has to get this to land, and whiffs the first swing. The classic nerfs from way back in the day, still stinging those little birds to this very day. False King now set to the magic pick, so Adam Brain rush ready. We've got 30 seconds. He could just time this out. He can just turtle. He might have been able to rush that. I saw a brief moment. I think he was too worried about a punch, so he went for the shield instead, but he might have been able to mash rush, gets the Slap-O-Mander, and it is now 2-1 in Adam Brain's favor. If he wins one more, he will be advancing. In terms of art style, you like ARMS art style more than Ninjala, because Ninjala's is confusing. ARMS has an exceptional, fantastic art style. Like, look at how great all these characters look. Absolutely gorgeous. So well designed. Like, the metal looks like metal, the cloth looks like cloth. The hair looks a lot more realistic. I mean, kinda. It's better than Ninjala. And if anybody's wondering why we're having these conversations, bringing this up, I am pretty deep in the Ninjala community these days, and we actually have a couple of Ninjala viewers dropping by to check out this tournament. So hello to them. Heading to our next stage, Scrapyard. This is a wonderful stage. There's so much going on here. I both love it and dislike it because of just how cluttered it is. We've got these 2 5-health pillars. Each one takes 5 hits to take out with like about a 1 second invulnerability frame. That was some unfortunate lag. We are going to get it the second time. Good grab will take out either of the pillars though. We've got that low pit at the bottom, and then we've got this just elevation game just going all around the outer circumference, which can put you into some really nice positions. Adam Brain is definitely very cozy here, and he is looking to try to take advantage of that. Just staying high and comfy, high and confident, and he's going to be able to set himself up for a nice KO. We are now on match point. If he's able to take this, he will be advancing in bracket, and False King will be knocked into the comeback rounds. Definitely a good call now to switch to, definitely a good call to go double Chilla. We might be seeing some ice chains if he's able to get a charge hit to connect. And Adam Brain is definitely going to be afraid of these because Ice Arms are like one of the scariest things to play against as a heavy. You are just this huge open target. Once you get frozen, you lose your mobility, you can't charge up, you don't get your armor anymore. It is so easy for a smaller lightweight character like Twintel just to chain you from full to zero, bait out your rush, or just like, there's a lot of heavy users who will just choose to use the rush to get rid of a freeze instead of risk getting ice chained, like we do have right here. Nice 160 on top of that damage. Oh, we end up getting a knockdown on False King. The nade had a bit of explosion still going. Nice conversion there. Still has to be cautious of this rush coming out. Adam Brain does not have the health to be able to withstand it. He has a rush coming up just of his own. If he can find a good read, just one more hit from either of his attacks, or land the rush, and this game is over. Almost dodges out of the way, but that final backdash actually lands him back in the target. Adam Brain going to be advancing, and False King will be taken to the comeback rounds, lower part of the bracket. And with that, we can move on to our other match for the night, which is going to be Alumox versus Frosty. Death by hesitation. That was death by panic. That was a hard death by panic. And in the heat of a moment like that, just seeing your opponent throw out a wild rush, sometimes you're just not fast enough to be able to get out what you're looking for. And it bites. It truly bites. Excellent game from both players. Best of luck to both of them in future rounds. We might even see them streamed later on. It looks like we are just going to be a moment or two before we continue. So, let me talk about these players for a little bit. We had previously Adam Brain, a very well-known ARMS player, has been around for years. Generally used to be a twin tail main that actually was known, if I'm not mistaken, for utilizing the Guardian. He started to branch out recently, I know, last time I saw him, he was trying some other characters like Masango. I know he's been dabbling with Master Mummy, which we saw him bring out. He's got a lot of characters. His Bite and Bark definitely has a good chew to it. Along with that, we also had False King, another notable twin tail, is very well known for being a huge fan of Chilla Sparky combo, which, while there might be criticism or concerns about whether it's as viable as some other builds, he rocks it. He's done well. He's made progress. He's in the Invitational. You're not. So he definitely knows how to utilize those two arms. Very exceptional. Really good player. And coming up, we've got a couple of others. We've got Alumox already in the field. She is a Max Brass main. Max Brass Big Sexy. She is a super aggressive Brass. There's a lot of people who just cannot keep up, and once she gets in on you, you get shut down, and the match is over. Brass is often known as one of, if not the strongest character in this game. I think the contention is either Brass or Coil. Though Coil more often is undisputedly the best character, there's some that think that Brass is better. I'm personally in favor of... I'm personally leaning towards saying Brass or Coil is the better, which is why Coil's banned. And then on the other side, we've got a long-standing tournament organizer, someone I've worked with for quite a while too. I've stepped down from a lot of leading works, but somebody who's still doing stuff for the ARMS community. We've got Frosty, who's going by the tag DJ here. He and his twin brother actually have probably the longest standing active tournament series. It's a very accessible one, as well known as the Bi-Weekly Procrastination. Here it is right there on the advertisement. Check out Ohio Arms on Twitter if you want to be able to check out, maybe participate. Good casual time. Gets you into the PR, which means you can find yourself in this very thing just by participating in these tournaments. Also, very well known as one of the few default default mains out there. And what it means to be a default main is each character starts out with a set of 3 arms. If you are playing default, you are playing with those 3 arms that the character starts with, which has its advantages, has its disadvantages. Depends on what you want to do and how you feel about things. Kid Cobra has an excellent loadout though to start with, having the Coolerang, the Hydra, and a Slamamander. Kid Cobra is also one of the more interesting characters in this game, alongside Brass, often considered one of the best characters in this game just because of how his movement works. I would also like to note, as many people who know me in this community would be very disheartened if I did not say this, Kid Cobra is hot. Nice grab from Alumox. Both players quickly set to critical. They could actually knock each other out with Rush at this very moment. Nice grab to cancel that out, but he dashes right into the Chilla, and Alumox is going to be able to claim the point. I definitely know the way things are set up right now, Alumox is likely holding onto her Rush, looking to try to utilize it to counter Frosty's, as she has 2 medium-weight flurry arms, and Frosty has a mono light and a mono medium, which means that it's very easy for him just to be put into a position where if she popped Rush, he would not be able to respond. And we saw pretty much the results of that in just a high burst amount of damage. Nice counter! I lost my track of thought, but basically, what happened in that exact moment, since those are 2 mono-rushed arms, if Frosty is not timing them asynchronously, if he synchronizes them together, that means that there is a window of vulnerability where Alumox can just, perfect shield through it, break through, and land an excellent counter, much like the one we saw, and score a KO off of the momentum gained from that. So, first point goes to the brass. Looking for stage strikes. We have 7 stages that are available. They are Mausoleum, Buster, DNA, Temple, and Sparring for starters. And we've got Via Dolce and Scrapyard as counter picks. Now, the reason why Via and Scrap are counter picks generally varies to some degree from person to person. But overall, what it generally means, why it's so, is Scrapyard has a lot of systems that it's kind of one of those stages that works a lot better for some characters than others. It's a significantly more unbalanced stage compared to like everything else. Along with that Via, which is like, it's just a long, narrow, winding hallway. Like, you can do some good defensive stuff in there, but it's easier said than done. Especially since any single grab can quickly wind you up in a corner. Let's see, where are we going next? If I think from what I've seen here, Scrapyard was banned. We might see DNA Lab, though I know Alumox is actually pretty content in there for an aggressive player. Temple Grounds might be a good option alternatively, but Sparring Ring is going to be the choice we go with, and I'm not going to argue with this one either. The reasoning here that Frosty is looking for is basically it's a win-loss situation. It's like all bets on. If Frosty is able to apply enough pressure, he can shut Alumox down completely. Brass sucks when he doesn't get the space he needs to be able to buff up, get his momentum, get these deflects going, but excels when you're not able to do anything in response. So Frosty's basically going on the basis of, like, if he can prevent Alumox from getting any kind of proper momentum, like the strength that she's looking for, this can be a shutout. But if Alumox gets her own momentum and gets her own capabilities, this again can be a shutout. So it is very much a dance of who gets the advantage, who's holding onto it. Right now, Alumox is currently holding onto it very well. Has Frosty in incredibly low health. Nice, perfect shield there. We do see a freeze and a burn with the Hydra. Tries to go for the grab attempt. Another freeze. Tries to grab and catch her off guard, but the slowness of that freeze just prevents him from being able to catch her by surprise at that range. And that's going to allow her to get a quick first point. So definitely these chips are currently falling into Alumox's favor as Frosty is doing his darnest to try to catch her by surprise. But it is so hard to surprise a Brass when they have advantage in this stage. She could have actually closed it out there with a rush juggle. He's going to be able to outrun her rush. It's 340 damage. That's going to be an important tempo swing. He needed to do something other than what he did. He cannot take any more damage. Maybe an uncharged Chakram. Maybe an uncharged Chakram. But everything else is going to be lethal in this situation. And that's lethal. I wouldn't say this was a bad choice of stage. It's just he needed to get that momentum going sooner and to be able to keep going. Especially since he needs to be able to make the right reads to recognize what is going on and what needs to be done to be able to take Alumox out. If he just got a couple better reads there, that would have been his point. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to sparring. Otherwise, I'm going to say Temple Grounds. If he is not able to take Alumox out here, she will be advancing 3-0 and making it further into the bracket, and she'll definitely be feeling good with that momentum. I will also let people know these matches will be continuing throughout the week. There's no confirmation on when each one specifically is, And there's no guarantee that I'll be streaming all of these, but I promise you that I'll do my best as a content creator, as the streamer and hostess for this tournament series, to get as many of these as possible for all of you to view. At the very least, they'll be as many of these as possible will be recorded and uploaded to Twitch temporarily and stay on my YouTube channel. I'm sure it is, so I'm sure it is. And the stream is brought to you by Illusion, the team I am sponsored by, for ARMS, as I am actually a sponsored ARMS player. I've placed well in these tournaments myself before. I've actually won a few offlines and walked away with less money than it cost to fly to these locations, but I've won tournaments. I've also placed like second or third, or I've placed good in a lot of these things. So you know you're getting your money's worth when you come watch my stream, and I'm talking about ARMS. This was a good fixation of mine for a good couple of years. I still love this thing to death. It's just, I don't know, I just don't have the drive anymore. Ninjala got my interest, and now I'm wanting to play Kirby, and I might pick up Elden Ring soon. Temple Grounds, yeah, looks like we are all set. And we are going to be diving into our next match. This might be match point. If Frosty is not able to claim this, we will be ending the stream here. Alumox advancing and Frosty falling into the comeback pools. Starting things off, we do actually get a really nice Hydra poke. Quick push down. This is definitely this can be a little bit better of a stage for Frosty. There's a little more space. It's got the pillars to hide behind. But that also works well for Alumox, as you just saw. She has clean opportunities to hide and get her armor up to allow herself to be able to secure like her own momentum swings and plays, especially at these longer ranges where she can see the attack coming and get these better deflects. Nice timing on the jump there prevented Frosty from getting Ice Chain. Instead, he's just taking that 110 poke. Frosty just looking for any damage at this point to be able to get the KO. Alumox likely looking for the rush. She's going to go for it, and she's going to be able to connect off of a nice catch there as Frosty whiffs the read on that dive. Something that Alumox is very well known for too is, in a lot of brasses like to use their rushes more as a no-you card because of how damaging losing momentum can be. They usually hold onto the rush as like a desperate play, just to be like, if this is a situation where it might force them, even slowing down and having to wait and shield can be a bad thing for brass because they're not buffing. They're not buffing up. They're not able to get their deflect. They're now slower. Their charged arms aren't really that good. So they want to constantly be in a state of advantage. If they are not in advantage, they are not wanting to. They're not playing the game well. That could have been the kill. Frosty just barely hanging in. But he's not going to be hanging in enough, as this consistent pressure, this aggression from Alumox is going to reward her in this exchange, and she's going to be walking away 3-0. And with that, we have our matches. I'll probably either upload these individually to YouTube, as a group. We'll see. I'm probably not going to add this part to the VOD, but that does end this little run of recording. Thank you all for watching, and tune in as we will be running the next parts later on. Ciao!